Have you ever found yourself constantly trying to please others only to feel drained and unappreciated? This question resonates with many of us, as we often find ourselves trapped in a cycle of constantly trying to keep others happy, often at the expense of our own happiness. We give, and give some more, often to the point of exhaustion, only to be met with more demands, more expectations, and less appreciation. This constant need to please others can feel like a disease, a relentless force that keeps pushing us towards actions that we are not inherently comfortable with. It's like a thief in the night, stealing away our peace of mind, our joy, and sometimes even our self-respect. We say yes when we want to say no. We go out of our way to be nice, even when it costs us our comfort. Do we ever stop to wonder why we do this? Why do we constantly put others' happiness above our own? Is it because we crave their approval, their validation, or is it because we fear their disappointment, their rejection? This struggle of pleasing others is a complex web of emotions, motivations, and fears. It's not just about being nice or generous. It's about seeking validation, avoiding conflict, and prioritizing others' needs over our own. But here's the thing. Every time we say yes to someone else, we might be saying no to ourselves. Every time we put someone else's happiness before our own, we are neglecting our own needs, our own desires, and our own well-being. The truth is, this disease to please can leave us feeling overwhelmed, drained, and unfulfilled. It can rob us of our joy, our peace, and our personal power. It can create a life that feels out of balance, out of sync with our true selves. So, it's time to ask ourselves, why do we have this disease to please? And how can we begin to overcome it? It's time to acknowledge this struggle, understand it, and most importantly, find ways to break free from it. Because at the end of the day, our happiness matters too. In 1989, I stumbled upon a book that shifted my perspective entirely. This book, penned by Gary Zhukov, illuminated the concept of living intentionally. It was a revelation that would guide my decisions henceforth. I began to question my motivations before committing to any action. Was it pure? Was it aligned with my authentic self? Or was it just another attempt to please others? As I ventured into this journey of intentional living, I realized that every action has a precursor, an intention. This intention, whether we acknowledge it or not, informs the cause and fuels the action. It is the reason behind every action we take. More importantly, it is what comes back to us, as per the law of cause and effect. This understanding helped me overcome the disease to please. I was a perpetual giver, always on the receiving end of more requests. It baffled me why people kept coming back for more, until I realized that my true intention was to be seen as nice. And because I was nice, I was the one they would turn to, expecting me to say yes, even when my heart screamed no. Living intentionally brought clarity to my actions and motivations. It made me understand that if my reason for giving was to be seen as nice, then people would indeed perceive me as such. And they would keep coming back, expecting more from the nice one. This newfound clarity took away a lot of fear. It helped me live a more fearless life, a life where I could assert my boundaries without guilt. I understood that I could not live a brave life without disappointing some people. But those who were rooting for my rise would understand. The law of cause and effect states that our intentions inform our actions, and these actions will eventually dictate what comes back to us. Living intentionally means aligning our actions with our true, pure motivations. It means living authentically, fearlessly, and unapologetically. So, how does living an intentional life help with the disease to please? Well, let me tell you, it's all about setting clear intentions. Imagine you're a ship in the ocean. Without a clear destination, you're just drifting aimlessly, subject to the whims of the wind and waves. But with a clear destination in mind, you can set a course and navigate purposefully towards your goal. That's what clear intentions do for you. They guide your actions, helping you steer clear of distractions that don't align with your purpose. When your intentions are unclear, you might find yourself constantly giving to others, not out of genuine generosity, but because you want them to perceive you as nice. And when they keep asking for more, you might feel taken advantage of, even resentful. But here's the kicker. They're not necessarily taking advantage of you. They're simply responding to your intention, your underlying motivation to be seen as nice. Now let's flip the script. When you're clear about your intentions, when you give from a place of genuine generosity, not for validation or approval, the dynamics of your interactions change. You give because you want to, not because you feel obliged to. And when you say no, it's not out of spite or resentment, but because you're honoring your own needs and boundaries. I learned this the hard way. For years, I struggled with the disease to please, always giving. But when I started living intentionally, when I started clarifying my intentions, I became more fearless. I learned to say no without guilt. to honor my own needs without feeling selfish. And guess what? People respected that. They understood and accepted my boundaries. Sure, some were disappointed, but that's a part of life. You cannot please everyone, and that's okay. Living an intentional life, setting clear intentions, it's like turning on the headlights in a dark and foggy night. It illuminates your path, guiding you towards your destination without getting lost in the fog of people-pleasing. You cannot live a brave life without disappointing some people, and that's okay. But what about the disappointment and criticism from others when we start living for ourselves? A question that looms over many of us as we begin to prioritize our own needs above pleasing others. Disappointment is an inevitable part of life. It's the bitter pill we must swallow when we start to put ourselves first. It can be a tough reality to accept, but it's essential for our growth. It's interesting to note that the disappointment others feel is often a reflection of their own agendas, not a measure of your worth or value. Let's delve into a personal experience. After years of trying to please everyone around me, I realized it was an exhausting and ultimately unfulfilling endeavor. I was giving so much of myself yet felt drained and underappreciated. It was clear that something had to change. The moment I decided to put my needs first, I encountered resistance. There were those who didn't understand my shift in priorities. They felt disappointed, even betrayed. But I learned that their disappointment was not about me. It was about their expectations, their desires, their agendas. They wanted me to live according to their script, not my own. I won't lie to you. Dealing with their disappointment was tough. It was a test of my resolve, my commitment to living an intentional life. But I persisted. I reminded myself daily that my worth was not defined by others' approval. I learned to sit with the discomfort, to let it wash over me and then let it go. I found strength in the knowledge that those who truly cared for me, those who were rooting for my rise, they were not disappointed. They understood, they supported, they celebrated my journey towards self-discovery and self-love. Their unwavering support was a beacon of light in the face of disappointment and criticism. So remember, when you start living for yourself, you may face disappointment from others, but know this. The only people who are disappointed are those whose agenda is not aligned with your own. Stand firm in your decisions, embrace the discomfort, and keep moving forward. After all, it's your life and you're the one who has to live it. In this journey of overcoming the disease to please, it's crucial to surround ourselves with the right people. A supportive network, let's call it your kitchen cabinet, can become your fortress, providing you with honest feedback and unwavering support. Picture it like this. Your kitchen cabinet is not just any group of friends or acquaintances. It is a carefully curated circle of individuals who genuinely care about you, who are rooting for your rise, and who won't shy away from telling you the hard truths. My own journey has been profoundly influenced by the presence of such a cabinet. Over the years, the members of this cabinet have evolved. Some have left, others have joined, but their role has remained the same: to keep me grounded, to challenge me when I'm in the wrong, and to celebrate my victories. There's a certain beauty in having people who can sift through the noise and help you focus on what truly matters. For instance, in this digital age, we're constantly bombarded with comments and feedback, both positive and negative. Your cabinet can help filter out the mean-spirited, leaving behind only constructive criticisms that help you grow. A pivotal moment in my career was when I was transitioning from the success of my show to building a network. Initially, I was swayed by others' ideas, trusting their vision more than my own. It wasn't until I had the good sense to bring in my own team, my kitchen cabinet, that things started to fall into place. The lesson? Trust your instincts, but also lean on your supportive network. They can provide a fresh perspective, challenge your ideas, and ultimately guide you towards making decisions that align with your intentions. Remember, the right people, those who are rooting for your rise, will understand when you say no and will be there to cheer you on.